Part 1. Understanding the nature of attachment. Separating from a loved one is one of the most painful experiences a person can go through. The end of a relationship can seem like the end of the world because hopes, dreams, moments of happiness and deep connection were associated with this person. However, Buddhism has wise teachings that can help us get through this difficult period and find inner harmony. In this part, we will look at the nature of attachment and why understanding it is the key to liberation from suffering. Attachment as a source of suffering. In Buddhism, suffering, dukkha, is one of the central concepts. Buddha taught that the main cause of suffering is attachment, trishna, the desire to hold on to something as unchanging and eternal. When we fall in love, we create a strong emotional dependence, expecting that the person will always be with us, that he or she will make us happy. However, the world is changeable. People come and go, and the more attached we become, the more painful the separation becomes. Real-life example. Imagine that you have a favorite cup from which you drink tea every morning. You love its shape, pattern, color. It becomes part of your morning, and you don't even think about its value. But one day, the cup falls and breaks. You are overcome with disappointment, anger, sadness. However, if you realize from the very beginning that this cup is temporary, that one day it will disappear, it would be easier for you to let it go. The illusion of control and expectations. We suffer not so much because of the loss of a person, but because of our expectations. We expect that love will be eternal, that the partner will always be there, that he will never change. But these expectations are just an illusion. Buddhism teaches us to accept reality as it is, and not as we would like to see it. Sophia dated Daniel for 5 years. They made plans, dreamed of a future together, but at some point, their paths diverged. Daniel said that he no longer felt the same as before. Sophia was in pain because she was sure that their love would last forever. But over time, studying Buddhist practices, she realized that her suffering came not from the breakup itself, but from her belief that the relationship should last forever. As soon as she accepted the impermanence of life, the pain began to subside. Mindfulness practice, observing emotions. When we lose someone, our mind becomes overwhelmed with emotions, sadness, anger, resentment, despair. Buddhism suggests not suppressing these feelings, but observing them as an outside observer. This is one of the key practices of meditation, to see emotions, but not to identify with them. Exercise. Sit in a comfortable position, close your eyes, and focus on your breathing. When pain or sadness appears, do not try to push it away. Just say to yourself, I notice sadness. I see that I am in pain. Allow these emotions to be, but do not dissolve in them. Over time, you will notice that they are losing their power. To survive a breakup means to realize the nature of attachment, to understand that we suffer not from the loss of a person, but from our attempt to hold on to the unchangeable. In the next part, we will look at Buddhist methods for accepting separation and harmoniously letting go of the past. Part 2. Acceptance of separation through Buddhist practices. Acceptance of separation is a process that requires patience and awareness. When a person we loved leaves, resistance arises within us. We do not want to let go. We cling to memories, trying to find a way to bring everything back. But Buddhism offers another way, the path of acceptance, which brings true liberation. In this part, we will look at how Buddhist principles help us soften the pain of separation and step by step find peace. The teaching of anicca. Everything is temporary. One of the fundamental principles of Buddhism is anicca, the idea of impermanence. Everything in this world is in constant motion. Seasons change, people come and go. Even our thoughts and emotions change every second. Suffering arises when we fight this natural flow of life. Real-life example, Alexei recalled how he was very upset as a child when his beloved dog died. It was his first encounter with loss, and he could not come to terms with it. Later, as an adult, he realized that death and loss are a natural part of existence. This thought helped him to cope with separations more easily and understand that everything in this world is temporary, including love and relationships. Meditation on non-attachment. One way to soften the pain of separation is to practice meditation on non-attachment. In Buddhism, there is a powerful technique called cloud meditation. It helps to realize that everything around us is like clouds in the sky. They appear, move, disappear. We cannot hold them, and this is their beauty. Exercise. Find a quiet place and sit in a comfortable position. Close your eyes and imagine that your thoughts and memories of the person who has passed are clouds in the sky. Let these clouds move, watch them, but don't try to hold them. Recognize that just like the clouds, your pain will dissipate over time, developing compassion for yourself and others. When a relationship ends, we often feel guilty or resentful. It's important to remember that a breakup is not someone's fault, but a natural course of life. In Buddhism, there is a practice called metta, loving kindness, which helps us let go of negativity and wish happiness not only for ourselves, but also for our ex-partner. Metta practice. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Imagine that your ex-partner is in front of you. Repeat silently, I wish you happiness. I wish you peace. I wish you love and harmony. Feel how your resentment and pain become lighter each time. Liberation through conscious farewell. Buddhism teaches that we need not fight the past, but consciously let it go. To do this, you can perform a farewell ritual that will symbolically seal your transition to a new chapter in life. Example of a ritual: write a letter to your ex-partner expressing everything that is on your mind. Gratitude, pain, forgiveness. Burn this letter, watching the smoke carry away the past. Take a deep breath and say, I let you go in peace. Let our relationship end with love and gratitude. Accepting separation through Buddhist practices is not suppressing pain, but a gentle and conscious experience of emotions. When we realize that everything is temporary, develop compassion, and learn to let go, suffering gradually goes away. In the next part, we will talk about how to restore inner harmony after a breakup and reopen your heart to love. Part 3. Recovering inner harmony. After a breakup, there is an emptiness. We may feel lost, broken, as if a part of us has disappeared. But, as Buddhism teaches, in every crisis, there is an opportunity for growth. This period can be used not to get stuck in the past, but to restore inner harmony and return to wholeness. In this part, we will look at how to use Buddhist techniques to heal yourself, calm the mind, and fill the heart with light. Realizing your own wholeness. One of the reasons for suffering after a breakup is the feeling that we have been deprived of something important. It seems to us that we have become a half, that without this person, our life is incomplete. Buddhism reminds us that this is an illusion. No one can make us whole except ourselves. Each person is already perfect, already has everything necessary for happiness. Real-life example. After breaking up with her husband, Anna felt empty. She felt like her happiness had gone with him. One day, she came across a Buddhist parable about a full vessel. If the vessel is full of water, there is no point in looking for something to fill it with. This realization helped her understand that she is self-sufficient in herself. She began to pay attention to herself, her interests, and gradually felt harmony again. Zen practice, staying in the present moment. After a breakup, the mind often returns to the past. We replay moments of happiness or quarrels in our heads over and over again, thinking about what we could have done differently. However, such thoughts do not lead to healing. They only perpetuate the pain. In Buddhism, there is a practice of staying in the present moment, which helps to free yourself from these thoughts. Exercise, grounding in the present. Close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths. Focus on your sensations. Feel your feet touching the floor, the air entering and leaving your lungs. Look around. Notice the colors, sounds, smells, everything that is in the moment, here and now. Repeat to yourself, I am present in this moment. I am not in the past and not in the future. Over time, this practice helps to reduce emotional pain, as it teaches you to perceive reality and not get stuck in thoughts. Energy cleansing through rituals. Sometimes, after a breakup, a trace of the previous relationship remains in space and in ourselves. Things that remind us of the person, messages, gifts. In Buddhism, there are cleansing rituals that help to symbolically close one stage of life and open a new one. Purification practice. Review the space around you. Remove things that evoke painful memories. Conduct a ritual with the element of water. For example, take a bath with salt, imagining how you wash away old pain. Light some incense or a candle and think about how your energy is now directed toward healing and renewal. Healing through service to others. Buddhism teaches that one of the most powerful ways to heal is to shift our focus from ourselves to others. When we suffer, we become immersed in our own experiences. But if we begin to help others, our inner world becomes filled with light. Real-life example. After a painful breakup, Sergei felt lost. It seemed to him that his life had lost its meaning. One day, he decided to help at an animal shelter just to distract himself. After a few weeks, he noticed that he began to think less about his ex-girlfriend, and his heart was filled with warmth from kind deeds. By helping others, he healed himself. Healing from a breakup is not a quick process, but Buddhist practices help us move forward with awareness and kindness to ourselves. Being conscious of your wholeness, living in the present moment, clearing your space, and serving others are all powerful tools for finding inner peace. In the next part, we will talk about how to reopen your heart to love without repeating the mistakes of the past. Part 4. How to open your heart to love again. After a breakup, many are afraid to love again. Once we have experienced pain, we begin to close ourselves off, building walls around our hearts so as not to repeat past mistakes. But Buddhism teaches us that love is a natural human condition, and suffering only occurs when we become attached or are afraid of loss. In this part, we will look at how to reopen your heart to love through Buddhist practices and mindfulness, without falling into attachment and without fear of new feelings. Understanding the nature of love. Buddhism views love not as a dependency or attachment, but as pure, unconditional energy that flows freely. When we love someone but do not demand anything in return, this is true love. Attachment, on the contrary, makes us dependent, creating a fear of loss. In order to reopen the heart, it is important to understand this difference. Real-life example. After a painful breakup, Ekaterina was afraid to enter into a new relationship. She thought that love only brings suffering. However, studying Buddhist teachings, she realized that her pain was not connected with love itself, but with attachment and fears. She began to learn to love differently, without expectations, with joy for the other person. Metta practice. Developing loving kindness. One of the main tools for opening the heart is metta, loving kindness meditation. It helps to cleanse the heart of fear and resentment, as well as develop sincere goodwill. Practice. Sit in a comfortable position. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Imagine in front of you a person for whom you feel sympathy or love. Repeat to yourself, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be calm, may you be free. Then imagine yourself and direct these same words to yourself. At the end, imagine all the people, even those who have hurt you, and wish them happiness. This practice fills the heart with light and helps to believe in love without fear again. Letting go of past experiences. Fear of new relationships is often associated with the fact that we continue to carry the pain of the past. It is important to realize that a new person is a new story, and not a repetition of old mistakes. Buddhism teaches that the past is already gone, and clinging to it means not allowing yourself to move forward. Letting go ritual. Write down on a piece of paper all the fears associated with a new relationship. Think about which of them are really real and which are just a shadow of the past. Burn this sheet, imagining how the fire takes away your fears. After that, close your eyes and say, I am open to new love. I trust life. Practice of joy in solitude. In order for love to come into your life, it is important to first learn to be happy alone. When a person seeks a partner out of a sense of lack, it creates attachment and fear of loss. But when he is already filled with joy, love comes to him naturally. Exercise. Every day, devote time to activities that bring you joy, be it reading, sports, traveling, or creativity. Discover something new. Sign up for a course. Start learning a new language. Practice gratitude for your life as it is now. Opening your heart to love is not a quick process, but Buddhism gives us valuable tools, understanding the nature of love, letting go of the past, developing kindness and joy in solitude. When we learn to love without attachment and expectations, love comes to us easily and freely. In the next part, we will talk about how to build healthy relationships based on awareness and respect. Part 5. How to build healthy relationships based on awareness and respect. After healing from past relationships and opening our hearts to love, we are faced with an important question: how to build new relationships that will be based on harmony, respect, and awareness. Buddhist philosophy offers us a path of non-violent and deep love, where relationships do not become a source of suffering, but on the contrary, help to grow and develop. In this part, we will consider the key principles of conscious relationships, practices that will help to avoid attachment and dependence, as well as real-life examples. Acceptance of yourself and your partner as you are. Often in relationships, we strive to change the other person, to adjust them to our expectations. But Buddhism teaches us acceptance of ourselves and others. True love is manifested not in the desire to change your partner, but in the ability to see them as they are and accept them with gratitude. Real-life example, Andrew and Louise often argued over trifles. Andrew wanted Louise to become more organized, and she was irritated by his isolation. But after studying Buddhist practices together, they learned to accept each other as they are. Instead of trying to change each other, they focused on understanding each other. Mindful communication practice. One of the main sources of conflict is misunderstanding. In Buddhism, there is a practice of deep listening, dipashrava, which helps to establish healthy communication. Practice. When your partner speaks, focus on what they are saying. Do not interrupt. Try not to formulate a response until they have finished speaking. Repeat what you heard in your own words to make sure you understood correctly. Show empathy and do not judge. This practice will help you avoid many conflicts and teach you to understand each other more deeply. Balance between attachment and freedom. Buddhism warns us that love should not turn into attachment, which causes suffering. Many people are afraid of losing their partner and begin to control them, limit their freedom. This leads to tension and destroys the relationship. An exercise in conscious trust. Write down your fears related to relationships, For example, fear of betrayal, separation, lack of attention. Analyze whether they are connected with reality or with your past traumas. Repeat the mantra to yourself. Love is freedom. I trust and allow my partner to be themselves. A practice of joint spiritual growth. The Buddhist tradition teaches us that relationships are not only a way to find happiness, but also a path to spiritual development. Instead of looking for a source of pleasure in a partner, try to move together toward self-knowledge and awareness. Ideas for joint development. Meditate together, supporting each other in the practice. Discuss philosophical questions, reflecting on the meaning of life. Practice gratitude to each other. Mutually inspire each other to do good deeds. Healthy relationships are built on acceptance, trust, freedom, and joint development. When we get rid of the fear of loss, attachment, and the desire to control, love becomes a natural flow. Following these Buddhist principles, we can create harmonious relationships that bring joy and depth to both partners.